So step your feet nice and wide, hands on your hips, and just start to hula hoop, circle those hips. Get some nice, soft, glossy, glidey movement going on. And then just notice how your body feels. Notice your knees, your hips, your back. Notice that good foundation underneath your feet. Notice if you're holding any tension in your jaw. All right, then when you're ready, take those hula hoop circles and go the other way. And then I always like to notice when you switch directions, are there any little subtle changes that show up? Like I always feel like there's a little something in my right hip in comparison to my left. Five seconds left. All right, and then when you're ready, take it into cross crawl, opposite hand, opposite knee. How fast or slow you go, totally up to you. Our next warm-up minute, we'll just be doing a minute of heel drops. So that's for our bone density. And then we'll come down and we'll do some side leg lifts to just put that sort of light dynamic movement back in to support the muscle group around the hips. So when you go into your heel drops, just do the version that feels good. Get that sense of like, what's your energy level feeling like right now? All right, that's time. Take it into your heel drops. And we want that good bone density moves. So we're just going for some nice, good consecutive drops. Get a little impact in your body. You want to feel it in your breath. You want to feel it in your bony structure. You're going to feel like you're just putting a little bit of oomph into your body. And then I like to go like loose, jiggly arms so I can feel a little bit of that bounce into my armpits. So you know it's hitting those lymph channels as well. But because we're dropping on the heels, check in. Are you clenching your jaw or are you gripping too much in your butt or your toes? Soften your toes just a little. Soften your butt muscles just a little. So where we're heading next, we're going to do some side leg lifts, but we're going to do a little bit of that like slightly elevated side body. So it's not going to get like big range of motion with the leg, but good slow strength building. So just know you can pick the softer version if you like. You got 3 seconds left. All right, that's time. And anybody who wants that booty band on for side leg lifts, go ahead and throw it around your thighs. Come down nice and easy. Take your time. So we're going to go elbow and forearm underneath the shoulder. Bottom leg is going to be in that bent knee position. And we want to focus just a touch, if you're in the mood for it, just a touch of that focus on that low rib cage lifting up away from the ground. And then the top leg is going to do the work. We got 30 seconds of work. And again, since we're in that slightly elevated position, keeping that rib cage nice and lifted, you might not get big, crazy height of your leg, but go up and down with some nice, good control. Five seconds left, and then we're going to come lower and get our shoulder rotation going on, and keep your band on because we'll use it again and we'll flip it around to the other side. All right, bend that knee, grab probably your lightweight because it's a shoulder rotator. Come a little bit lower now. You can put your yoga block under your head or put your arm underneath your head. Tuck that elbow into the side of your body and then just get some nice rotation going on. Rotate knuckles up towards the ceiling, knuckles towards the belly button. But everybody's shoulder rotation might look a little bit different. So we want to keep the elbow connected to the side of your waist, but you want to not force the shoulder to try to move in any way that doesn't feel right. So you want to move in that nice normal pattern. All right, that's time. Take a second, put that hand weight down, and now stay in this low position, and we're going into our knee tap, heel tap clams. So you're going to put a little bit of a flex into your bottom foot so that the heel's just a little bit lifted. So you've got this nice clam position, and now go knee tap, heel tap. And we got 30 seconds of work. Knee tap, heel tap. Steady side body, nice supported head, slow controlled movement. And then I always like to remind the internal rotation, external rotation might look different on everybody's body because we just have different bone set. All right, take one more round through. And then when you're ready, we're flipping it around to the other side. Take your time as you flip yourself around. And then we're starting in that slightly higher side body position. Bottom leg is in that bent position. Top leg is nice and long. Focus on getting that rib cage lifted up if you want to. And then away we go. 30 seconds of work, nice and controlled. Leg lifts up and lowers with good control. All right, that's time. Bend your knees, come a little bit lower, support your head, grab your light hand weight, and now we're taking it back into those shoulder rotations. So find your way down, get settled in first, and then find that good rotational work. Elbow stays connected to the side of the body. We reach up towards the sky and down towards the belly button. We got 30 seconds of work here. Five seconds left. All right, that's time. Take a second, put that hand weight down, flex your feet. So you get that little bit of that heel lift. So we get that the heels coming together, and then we go knee tap, heel tap. So we get a little internal rotation, a little external rotation, but slow and controlled. And don't worry about what anybody else's shape looks like. Just find that inward knee position. So they might not tap. They might just kind of reach towards each other. Go for what feels right on this side. All right, that's time. Now we're rolling onto our back. We're going to take it into some hip bridges. And if you like, I'll say put your looping resistance band on around above your knees. So we're going to go hip bridge with a clam at the top. So a little bit of abduction. So get your band around your legs if you're in the mood for it. If you're not, leave it off. Do the work that feels really good to you today. Walk your feet in so that they're about heels close to the butt, feet about hip width distance apart, and about 2 fist width distance of space between your knees. We're going to dorsiflex the feet. So you're going to pull up the toes and the balls of the feet, keep them in that lifted position. Exhale, lift your butt up, do a little clam at the top, knees come out, knees come back into that 2 fist width distance of space, and then lower down. And then if you get there and you're like, well, I could use just a little bit more work, grab the heavier set of weights that you've got and load up at the front of your hips. Exhale as you lift, open the knees just a touch, come back in and lower down. We got 30 seconds left here, but just to give you a sense of where we're going to head next, we'll put a support underneath our hips. So yoga block or foam roller or your blanket or a soft pillow or even your Pilates ball. Pilates ball will give you the most challenge to your core balance. And then we'll just do alternating knee pulls, think single leg stretch, but with just that slight elevated hip position. So you're going to choose the tool underneath your butt that will feel really good to you. And that one's the one where I was getting so frustrated with my band, I had to kick it across the room. So you might like to kick your band off if it gets a little mischievous for you. All right, lower your butt down, kick your band off if you want to. And then grab either your yoga block, a pillow, rolled up blanket, foam roller, whatever you like to put underneath your butt. Go for a moderate height. We don't want to go crazy high. We just want to feel like the hips are in that slight elevated position. And then when we go into that single leg stretch, the leg that goes nice and long, we're going to keep that foot in a little hover. So we're not going to try to touch the leg to the ground, but we're going to put a little energy out into it. So you're going to point your toes and get that stretch feeling going on. Like your heel is trying to reach towards the ground, but it's not going to settle down. If you get on the elevated position and it doesn't feel good to your back or to your hips, then of course take it off. And then for there, if you like, you'll just do a little curled up position. So a slight little curl up and get that single leg stretch. We got 20 seconds left. About 10 more seconds, but to tell you where we're heading next, we're going to take it into a chest press in supine position. So you might like the chest press on your foam roller, long spine, so it gives you that core challenge, or you might choose to put your blanket underneath your back. Take a second, move that lifted, elevated position out from underneath your hips, give your back a moment to readjust, and then grab whatever moderate heavy hand weights that you've got nearby. Bent knee position, legs nice and long, totally up to you. Legs up in a reverse table, legs up to the sky. Go for the shape of the legs that feels like it's nice. It gives you a challenge if you're in the mood for it. And then elbows nice and wide. Press your weights up towards the sky and then lower them with good control. We got 1 minute on the clock, nice and slow. And all the little add-ons is just about what feels really good to you today. Twenty seconds left. Now, where we're heading next, we're going to take it into some alternating heel taps. So think reverse table position, flex the feet, and then we go into those little alternating leg movements. So if you want to, you're going to hang on to your weights. Now keep them pressed up towards the ceiling, float your legs up to that reverse table position and take your alternating heel taps there. For some of us though, it might feel just a little bit better to start from the low position. So maybe you hold those weights up and you keep it low and light. So shoot for what feels really good. And if you're like, I need a bigger challenge, put your looping resistance band back on around your thighs. Slow, steady work. Fifteen seconds left. All right, take a second, float your legs down, float your arms down, give just a breath to take that rest in between. Now we're gonna go into alternating figure 4 lifts. So you'll say, take the right leg across your left, lift up, float it down, switch sides. And then if you want a little bit of challenge for the upper body, you're gonna grab those weights and you're gonna put them in a slightly open hug position. It's just gonna catch your biceps and your armpit chest working just a touch. And then you'll take your figure four. It clears that bit of space so you can still lift the legs up and down. And then we're alternating between the two. However, if there's anything going on with your hips where alternating doesn't feel good, but doing the single leg version feels nice, switch at the 30-second mark and I'll tell you when that happens. All right, if you were going with one single leg the whole time, switch, work it over to the other side. All right, even yourself out, and then we're coming up to a seated position. Take your time as you come up. Now for this next one, we're doing a seated chest fly, a little Pilates style. So we go where our like knuckles touch and we open up so we keep a good like bend in our arms. But for some of us to sit in this L seat position, it actually organizes just a slight bit better if you put a little prop underneath your butt. So for any of us who feel like that effort in an L seat or staff seat is just like too much and you just can't ever get comfortable, it pinches off your hip flexors, your butt never sits quite right, put your block underneath your butt, grab the weights that feel appropriate for a little chest fly, but we want to go knuckles together. So you're going to get into that nice O shape of your arms, knuckles together, open out, but keep a good bend in your elbows, and then come back in nice and slow. We want that good, purposeful, upright spine. So it's a lot about the posture because we're engaging those back muscles. So slow and steady. Hey, MJ, if you're joining us, we're already about 20 minutes into our work. So grab maybe some light hand weights, find your way to a seat on your mat. And then we're just taking it into a nice open fly. So we're going knuckles together, a little bit of a bend in the elbows, and a nice upright spine. And I'm glad you're here. 25 seconds left, slow and steady. Keep that good posture. Anyone who came to chair yoga on Wednesday where we put that block on top of our head and we sat up really tall, think about that imaginary block on the top of your head and you're pressing upward the whole entire time. All right, that's time. Take a second. Woo, put those weights down. Give your arms and your chest a little wiggle. Now we're going into that Pilates style spinal twist. So in that seated position, for some of us, it's going to possibly feel a little bit better to come off of your seat. Arms come out nice and wide, energy out into the arms, and we inhale on the rotation. So you're going to inhale and twist and imagine somebody's pulled you by your arm. So you're taking a little tug of war across your chest. Exhale as you return to center. Inhale, tall, reach out through the arms, twist to the other side. Exhale, return to center. If you're on your block, you want to feel like your hips and your legs are cemented to your mat. So your hips aren't moving, legs are staying steady. We only rotate the spine and we inhale on rotation and exhale on the return. Fifteen seconds left. Slow, steady work. So it's really purposeful and it connects with the breath. Inhale on rotation, exhale on the return. And you may feel it if you're putting enough energy into your arms, you may start to feel a little bit of fatigue into your shoulders and your armpit chest. Got 3 seconds left. All right, that's time. Woo, take a second, lower your arms, give your legs a little wiggle and a shake. All right, now we're going into a seated bicep curl, but we're taking it Pilates style again. So choose the weights that feel really good, because you're going to be holding your arms out in front of you, keeping that nice upright spine. And then we're just bending to a 90 degree and then reaching the arms out and away. And it's really nice and slow and focused control. So don't go for like oomph on the heavy weights. Go for a moderate weight that feels reasonable so that you can stay in control the whole time. Elbows are straight out in front of the shoulders. We come just to the 90-degree and then slow on the lower. That slow lower is just going to get some nice, good, juicy work into the biceps. And then you want just a nice, good head position. So make sure you're gazing forward, not up to the corner of the ceiling. And then MJ, I like to say, especially if you're just coming in, work to the point of fatigue and then take a break if you need to. Sometimes we set the timer for 1 minute and like it feels easy to go for a full minute, but sometimes you just got to take a minute, let it rest, and then come back in if it feels good. So you always want to work at the depth and pace that feels just right to you, no matter which posture we're doing, because everybody's body is a little different. So you work to the point of fatigue in the areas that make sense to you. All right, take a second, put those hand weights down. Get anything out from underneath you. We're going into our booty walk. Our booty walk, when we do our booty walk, it helps work those hip hike muscles, our QL muscles. So we just walk with our butt, walk towards the front end of your mat, and walk your butt back. And then if you want just a touch of challenge, maybe grab your moderate hand weights and just hold them up above your head or hold them at your chest. So it gives you that nice little feeling of challenge, but not too much. You just want to feel like you're still in really good control of the movement. Walk your butt back, and then you walk your butt forward. And then if you need that little assist, you let your hands help you. But if you can do it hands-free, then you're going to get that really good action, that nice responsiveness into those QL muscles. Got about 25 seconds left. And then to tell you where we're heading next, we'll take it into all fours position, crawling. We're going to do a coordinated crawl, and anybody who wants to, you'll put your looping resistance band around your arms, and it's going to create a nice little challenge for when we crawl to keep that good coordination, because the knee will want to move a little faster than the arms. So it gives that nice, good brain connection and back body connection. All right, that's time. Take a second, swing yourself all the way around. Anybody who's got mischievous knees, take a second to cushion them, and then choose your own adventure. But you might take your booty band, your looping resistance band, and put it kind of around your forearms, because now we're going into crawling position. Coordinated crawl, good for our back muscles, good for our brain because it does bilateral stimulation. It's good for our butt, our back, our shoulders, our core muscles, and our brain. All right, so as we crawl in our coordinated crawl, we go opposite hand and opposite knee, and they move in coordination with each other. So we lift up, crawl forward, crawl back, but we go nice and slow so we can get that good organized movement. We're not rushing through it. We want to stay nice and steady. And then once you feel like you've got a good coordination of movement going on, add a little challenge. Keep your head turned to the right, but you're still crawling straight forward and back. And you want to go slow because you want to feel like your knee and your arm move in that nice organized pace. And then if you turned your head to the right, now turn your head to the left, still keeping that good, organized, coordinated crawl going forward and back. All right, and then for these last few seconds, head back to that neutral middle position. And time, nicely done. I can move that band out from around your arms. Now we're going to be alternating kneeling lunge, touch the shoelaces, overhead press. So grab a moderate set of weights. Now for some of us, it will truly feel better to just stay on one side for 30 seconds and then switch to the other side. So you're going to choose your own adventure for this one. So you're going to go kneeling lunge, go down like you're touching your shoelaces, go into your overhead press, and then possibly switch your lunge. So it's a good, like, get coordinated movement. Can you do that move hands-free? And if you're like, nope, then I would rather you stay on one side for 30 seconds and then go to the other side for the next. I'll tell you to switch if you're going to stay on one side, but otherwise we reach down, touch the shoelaces, overhead press, and then you switch your lunge if you're switching. Nice work. All right, if you stayed on one side, now switch and then work the last 30 seconds on your other side. All right, that's time. Take a second, put your hand weights off to the side, clear your mat space just a little bit. And then hopefully you do have a yoga mat that you're working on, because we're going to grab the edges of our yoga mat. So my yoga friends who were in class yesterday, we grabbed the edges of the mat. We're going to go up, down dog into that child's pose position. So get a good grip, a nice handhold onto the side of your mat. So you get that nice firm grip, then get your toes curled under. We go back to a child's pose position, and you can push into the mat with your grip, come forward, and then lift up into that downward facing dog shape. And then you float back down again. And hopefully the grip feels good. If you get there and you're like, that doesn't work for my hands, my wrists, my knuckles, whatever the case may be, switch it so it feels comfortable enough. And then you choose your own adventure when you go back to that child's pose position, whether or not you keep your toes tucked under. That's going to give you that little plantar fascia stretch, but it might be painful, so you release it if it doesn't feel good. Ten seconds left. All right, that's time. Now we're going to finish in a high kneel position. So you're just going to come up so you're in that nice high kneeling position. If your knees are mischievous and they get cranky in this kneeling position, come up to standing, because there's no right or wrong about how you're going to do it. Grab your moderate weight, and we're going with a little bit of to the hip and a halo, and then over to the other hip. So you're going to take it to one hip. You're going to circle around your head. And when we circle around the head, like, because me, I've got my high bun today, you want to make sure you move your arms, trying not to move your head too much. So you want to shoot for that straightforward head position. But if you got the high bun, then you got to do a little negotiation. Take it to your hip, circle it around. Anyone who's in that kneeling position, you want to put a little bit of a squeeze into your butt muscles, so you feel like your legs and your butt help support your core to keep you nice and sturdy. Two seconds left. All right, that's time. Take a second, put your hand weight down, comfortable seated position, kneeling position, standing position, totally up to you. Bring one arm across your chest, tuck your shoulder down, tuck your chin down to your chest, and then do little micro head turns. So as your chin's tucked down, you're going to look a little to the left, a little to the right. One more little head turn. Bring your head back to middle, lift your chin up, release your arm, take it over to the other side. Bring the arm across, tuck the shoulder down, tuck your chin to your chest, little micro head turns, look a little to the left, a little to the right. I love the high kneel position because I can always feel my hamstrings grip, 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 re-grip, grip, 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 re-grip. So if you can feel the back of your butt and your legs doing a little bit of work, that's good. It's a good thing. All right, nice responsive hamstrings. Take one more moment and then let it go. Take a little shrug and roll the shoulders, shoot it all around. Come up to standing position, soft forward fold. So come up in a way that makes good sense. Step your feet to a nice comfortable width. Put a good comfortable bend in the knees. Take a nice big breath. Reach your arms up. lift the tube of your waist up just a touch. And then as you exhale, bend your knees a lot more than you think you need to. Fold to that space between your legs. Let your head hang nice and heavy here. Take a nice big breath. All right, take one more moment and then bend your knees a lot. Push down strong into your feet. Come up nice and slow and controlled. Give everything a little bounce, wiggle, and a shake. Grab your foam roller if you're sticking around. MJ, part 2, we do foam roller work. So we just kind of get on and do a little bit of foam roller flow. Some of it's like strengthening work, and then some of it's like nice, soft, massaging, myofascial release. So if you have a foam roller, grab it. And if you're like, I don't have a foam roller, then roll up a blanket so that it's approximately the length of your spine, and then you can get some nice work going on. The only thing you won't get is like the roll. So whatever you've got. And a Pilates ball is a good alternate. So if you've got a ball, we're going to start with the work and then we'll go into the soft. So we're going to come down onto our belly with the foam roller underneath the hip points. And I'm going to grab my blanket just so I can demo one way or the other. For anyone who's got like, especially in this position, for anybody who's got like tender hip bones, tender front pocket of the jeans, get your rolled up blanket so it's in that nice, and it's approximately the length of my foam roller. So we're going to take that rolling tool and it's going to come right underneath the front pocket of our jeans. And then the top half of the body is going to stabilize. You can hold onto your yoga mat. You can hold on to the ground. You can come up slightly, but what we want to do is achieve a little bit of a lift. So you want to lift your legs up and then float them back down. And it's going to work your butt muscles. But because you've got that compressive tool against the front pocket of your jeans, you want to go nice and slow because it might be a tender place. You're building strength in the back half of the body. And it's putting a little bit of myofascial pressure. So it's just putting a little squeeze into the front pocket of the jeans. Get a nice good lift and lower going on. Go for about 3 more if you can. All right, then once you've done about 3 more, let everything soften. Think crocodile position, toes nice and wide, elbows nice and wide, hands stacked, forehead rest, and you're just gonna let everything reduce effort. So you're gonna relax your butt muscles, relax the back of your thighs, relax your jaw, and take a few slow, deep breaths. All right, now we're going to move our rolling tool down so that it comes underneath our thighs. So if you've got your blanket, you're just going to scooch it on down so that it comes into the middle muscly part of your thighs. And then if you're using your foam roller, you're going to same thing. You're going to get it into that middle muscly part of your thighs. And then we're just doing a light little bend and straighten. So when we do this little bit of work, so we've compressed the muscles and then we're moving stuff from within, you just want to make sure that your upper body feels stable and sturdy. So think press gently down into the floor so your back feels alive, your shoulders feel engaged, and your muscles feel like they're being responsive. So you feel sturdy, confident in the movement. Sometimes myofascial release can get you into that hurt so good feeling, but we always want to make sure that we can breathe comfortably as we do the work. Because this is not about punishing ourselves. It's about coming in and finding some nice work so that our muscles and our fascia and our bony structure feel loved and held and supported. Go for 1 more good bend of your knees. And then when you're ready, slow, 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 push your weight off. Roll blanket or foam roller out in front of you, puppy pose. Keep your hips roughly in line with your knees. Take your foam roller out in front of you. Soften your heart down. Take a few deep breaths. Take 1 more moment here. We're going to come in just a little bit. So you're going to come up, slide your rolling tool in so that you can get your forearm onto the roll. So you're going to go palm facing up and we're going to do the gnocchi smush. So imagine that you're making that gnocchi, right? And you do that little push and smush. So you're going to take your right forearm, palm facing up onto your rolling tool, and then your left hand is going to stack on top of the inside of your arm. And then you're going to push and roll. And you want to try to keep your forearm that's on your rolling tool in a sort of semi-relaxed state. Think of this work as like smushing silly putty. So you want it to be sort of slow and intentional, like you're just trying to mush the muscles against that firm tool. You want to try to make sure your jaw is a little soft. All right, take one more gnocchi roll on this side and then take it over to the other arm. Left forearm onto the roll, right hand stacks on top. So we've got that left arm palm facing up, and then we do a little push and smush. So we keep the muscle pressed up against that rolling tool, and then we use the hand and the body to get a little bit of smushy movement going on. Soft and steady, slow intentional breath. Anytime we do myofascial release work, we want to make sure that it feels like it's good, that you can walk away from the work. There's no bruising. We're not walking up to the points of pain. We want to be able to breathe comfortably the whole entire time. And then you want to make sure that you feel at least neutral or better when you're done. So if you get done with the work and your body doesn't feel very good, indications that you might be going a little too hard. So soften everything up that feels just right. All right, take one more good gnocchi roll, and then come off, sit back in any way that makes good sense, and just give your wrists a little twirl, give your fingers a little twinkle. Now we're going to go long spine position. So blanket roll or your foam roller, you're going to switch it so that it goes long ways. And then we're going to come onto that roll. For the blanket, sometimes, at least for my butt body, my tailbone comes off the edge of the blanket roll. On the foam roller, my butt stays on the roll. So position your tailbone and your butt so it feels good. We want this length of the spine onto the rolling tool. Do the little wiggle and adjust. Make sure everything feels like it's in a nice position. And then you want a sturdy leg base. So walk your legs out nice and wide. You want to feel like you can lift your arms and you feel sturdy, you feel steady. You could do some work. Once you've got that roll underneath you and it feels pretty good, arms are just going to open out into T position, palms facing up. Put a little bit of length into the back of your neck, roll the ball of your head so it's nice and long, and you want your gaze up towards the ceiling, eyes on the horizon, versus looking up at the corner of the ceiling. So get that nice long back of your neck, and then just for a moment, imagine that your body is trying to melt over your rolling tool. Little pick up and hover. So you're just going to pick your arms up so that your hands hover above the ground, approximately out at shoulder height, and then let them lower down, but like the slowest lower that you can come up with. So you're only up maybe an inch or two, and you want to lower it at a count of 4. So go nice and slow. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let the backs of your hands find the ground. Lift back up into your hover. Hold your hover. And then lower slow. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift up and hover. Lower slow. 4, 3, 2, 1. And then snow angel up, just crank it up just a notch. So go up about maybe 10 degrees, 15 degrees. And then once you've got that new position, arms touch down if they can. Some bodies might have a little trouble getting that touch point once we move up higher. So just don't force it. Go where it feels comfortable. Lift up into a hover, hold in your hover, and then lower slow. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pick up and hover. Lower slow. 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time. Pick up and hover. Lower slow. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come up, move up your snow angel arms, come up another 10 degrees or so. And then once you're in that new position, now you're getting into those higher points. So it might be a challenge to get the arms to touch the ground. We don't force them, let them hang in a heavy position, hold for a moment, and then pick them up into that idea of a hover. Hold your hover, and then slow lower. 4, 3, 2, 1. They might not touch the ground. Don't worry about that. Pick back up into your hover. Hold in the hover. Lower slow. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pick up into your hover. Hold for a moment. Lower slow. 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay in that position that you're at in your angle, but now we're going to go clap above the head. So you're going to come all the way up and together, all the way back out to that starting position that you were up at. So it's about maybe somewhere between the T and the Y. Come up, hands come together, go back out. Come up, hands come together, go back out. And then this time as we come up, hands are going to come together, elbows and forearms are going to come together, and then you're going to take it into a 90-degree bend. So we want to keep the elbows and the forearms and the palms together best you can. For some of us, there's a little space between the elbows. Go for what feels available and just right for you. And then once you've got a position that feels good, move your elbows up and down. Think up 2 inches, down 2 inches. One more up and down, and then we're going to go crisscross arms like you're holding onto your shoulders. So now you're just going to release the palm press together. Take your hands to your shoulders, elbows are stacked, and now bigger movement. Move your elbows up toward your forehead. Move your button. Go for one more up and down, and then switch the cross in your arms, and then go back to the work. Elbows come up nice and high, elbows go down nice and low. Excellent. One or two more up and down. And then arms are going to go up. I dream of Genie. Arms are square across the chest. So now you're going to come up in front of the chest, grab your elbows, make sure your legs feel nice and sturdy, and start to pull the elbows from side to side. One more pull of your elbows from side to side. And then float your arms down, anchor on the ground. So go for like low A position with tented fingers so everything feels nice and sturdy. Walk your feet back in, and we're just going to float the legs up to reverse table and hold steady there. You're going to flex your feet. You're going to shoot to spread your toes as much as you can. And then you're going to tune into where your rib cage is. And then think about the back of your rib cage, and you're going to try to tuck the back of your rib cage into your rolled tool. So you keep a nice sturdy back body, a little bit of firmness in your center, a little bit of responsiveness in your legs and your hip flexors. Gaze is up towards the ceiling. You're going to notice your breath and make sure you feel steady first. And you're going to ask yourself, could you pick up one arm, come up into a little float? Lower that arm down, make sure you feel stable first, and then see if you can pick up your other arm. And then it's all about those responsive muscles helping hold you in that good coordination. Lower that arm nice and slow, and then slow, 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 as slow as you can, lower your legs back down to the ground. Take your time as you go. And then once your legs have touched down, slow and careful, roll off of your rolling tool. And now we're going to go into the lats. So we're just going to take it right to our rolling tool going sideways now. And you're going to think about that muscle. Think back of the armpit muscle, but we're going to go down just a little bit lower. So think about that low end of the broad bra strap area. See if you can get your side of your body onto your rolling tool. And then once you've got your way there, you're just going to hang for a second. You're just going to let the weight of your body rest on that tool, but you're going to notice your breath, and you're going to try to breathe into your rib cage like you're trying to move your tool with the movement of your breath. So take a big rib cage filling breath. Think lateral side breath. One more nice big breath. And then we're going to go up into a lateral side stretch. So you're going to lower that bottom arm so you can come into that upward arm reach. So you get that nice bit of lateral flexion. And then for some of us, top leg slides back just a little bit. So we put a little space into the front pockets of the jeans, and it just puts that nice happy tug down into the side of your hip and side of your waist. So go where it feels pretty good. You want to still make sure you can breathe comfortably, but now see if you can come back to that idea of that expansive breath into the rib cage. And you want to feel your rib kind of pushing against the foam roller as you take a nice big breath. Beautiful. Slowly, slowly, slowly come back up. Stay on that side though, and just take little tips forward and back. One more tip forward and back. And then when you're ready, we're flipping it around to the other side. I'm going to spin myself around so I'm facing out to you. You flip yourself around in a way that makes good sense. We're coming into that sideline position, and we want to find that low back end of the rib cage, low part of the bra strap area. And then once you've got your way there, take a second to just feel into your breath. Take a nice big rib cage expansive breath. All right, and then when you're ready, take it into that lateral side stretch. Lower down just a touch, get that arm to reach up and overhead. And then we take that top leg for some of us and we slide it back. So we get a bunch of space into the front pocket of the jeans, a little space down into the side of your waist. And then you take that nice big breath again. You want to feel the ribs move against your rolling tool. Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, come up just enough so that you can support and then do a little tip forward and back. Beautiful. One more tip forward and back, and then we're going to work our way to the backs of our calf muscles. So when you're ready, lift yourself up, spin yourself around, and get your legs up onto your rolling tool. And we're going to shoot for the meatiest, thickest part of our calf muscles onto the tool. So get your legs up on it, and then let your calf muscles just get a little softness, a little heaviness. And then you're going to shoot for like slow motion rotation. So you're going to just tip your knees a little to the right, tip your knees a little bit to the left, stay leaned back so you're not even putting any of your pressure of your torso into your legs. And then like let it be this, come back to that silly putty idea, like you're trying to warm up the silly putty. So let the turn of your legs be really small and really slow. All right, now as you do these little turns from side to side, the next time you're turned to the right, you're going to see if there's any place that feels interesting, and you're going to see if you can land on that spot and then do a little point and flex of your feet. So the nervous system is really responsive to how we engage in our work. So if you go in a pace that feels like your body can trust and you move in a way that makes sense to you, your body is going to respond nicely to it because it's going to feel held up and supported. But if you're just kind of like banging against yourself and doing work that your body's like not into anyways, the benefits aren't going to show up. You want to support your nervous system when you support your body. All right, take one more point and flex of your feet and then tip them over to the left. Go nice and slow as you go. See if there's a spot that feels kind of interesting, land on that spot, and then point and flex your feet. Lovely. One more point and flex of your feet. And then bring it back to center. Go back to that slow motion just for a moment. Nice, slow, silly putty rolls. All right, one more soft, silly putty roll. Then we're going to move the roll underneath the bend of our knees. So move it up with your hands or move it up with your legs. Get it underneath the bend of your knees and then just do the little lymphatic smush, 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 smush around those pits of your knees. So we've got lymph channels that come up the backs of the knee pits. And we just want to give them a little clear channel, smush it, smush it, smush it, make it feel nice and alive. And then we're going to hop our butt up onto our rolling tool. So we're just going to be in a seated position. If you've got the blanket, tighten up that roll as much as you can because you want to feel that nice firm compression because our butt muscles are nice and thick. So come up on your tool, take a second to fix your blankie roll if you're feeling like a blankie underneath your butt today. And then we're just going to take a nice good roll from side to side. So you're rolling onto the side of your right glute. And then you roll across the thickness of your butt muscles and then over to the left side glute. So though sometimes it looks like we're going into that IT band area, we're going to stay in the butt muscles. So line up your sits bones so that they're on the rolling tool. And then we roll over to one side. And then we slow roll over to the other. And then see if you can slow it down so you come back to that silly putty idea, like you're trying to warm up the silly putty of your body. And then you want to see if you can keep a nice soft jaw and keep a good intentional breath coming in and out through your nose. All right, come back to middle, grab your right thigh and just do the little twist the meat on the bone. So you're going to twist up and down towards your hip, twist up and down towards your knee. And as you twist, keep the muscle nice and soft. We just want to kind of warm up that fascia on the side of the thigh. So now we're working into that IT band. We're giving it a little bit of novel movement, a little bit of the warmth from our hands. Oftentimes just that nice feeling of being held and hugged is really nice for our fascia and our nervous system. So sometimes it just feels like you're hugging your thigh. So give it a good little twist and turn. And then once you've twisted and turned it just enough, now tip over to the right or whatever leg you were just working on, get into that side glute and then do your little knee drive. Pick your knee up towards your shoulder and then kick the knee out and away. And hopefully your leg already feels like a little bit warmer than the other side. Nice. One more moment there. And then when you're ready, come back through center, grab that other thigh, give it the old twist and turn, move the muscle on the bone. So we're letting the muscle be a little bit loose. Twist and turn up towards your hip, twist and turn down towards your knee. And if you get real fancy when you're moving that IT band, you can take the heel of your hand and put that little touch of compression, but you want it to be nice. You want to feel like you're warming it up and getting it nice and gummy, glossing that thigh muscle across that thigh bone. Take one more moment there. And then once you feel like it's nice and good and warm, tip over to the left to get onto that left side glute. Get comfortable there first, and then take the knee drive. Knee comes up towards the shoulder and the knee drives away. All right, one more knee drive in and out. Foam rollers are going to roll. Blanket people are going to just stay in a steady position. I'm going to show blanket first because you're going to just get there and stay there. So blanket, because it's a little bit lower, you're going to line it up with your armpits. You're going to come into a nice gentle back bend, and you're just going to let your arms open wide. So it's going to put that nice feeling of compression across those muscles across the upper back. Everybody who's got the foam roller, if you want, you're going to roll. So you're going to get that roller. So it's about that bra line area. And then slow, silly putty rolls. Roll all the way up towards the tops of the shoulder heads, and then roll all the way down to the bra line. Go nice and slow. You've got your ponytail, catch up that hair, get everything supported so it feels good, and then go for that super duper slow, silly putty roll. All right, one or two more good rolls up and down, and then we're going to go occipital ridge. So we're going to move our rolling tools up underneath our head. So you're going to move your blanket up so it comes underneath that nice structure of the bones of your skull. You're going to move your foam roller up so it comes underneath your head. Get your tool in place. Get everything else organized the way you want it to be. And then once you've got your tool underneath your head, just like a little bit of a pillow, you're just going to do slow turns of your head from side to side. One more good slow head turn. And then just for a moment, let everything be soft. Let your head come to a stillness. Let your body reduce effort for a moment. Take a nice big breath. We're going to make our way up to standing and just finish with that little bug squish to the bottom of our foot. So whether you use your blanket roll or your foam roller, no right or wrong, you're just going to choose the one that feels really good. Use your body in a nice organized way. Come up in a way that feels as effortless as it can possibly be. Come up to a standing position, and then we're just going to put center of the foot onto your rolling tool. So whether you've got your firm rolled up blanket, you just put your foot right into the middle of it and you put a little body weight in and you smush, smush, smush. You want to think like Sandy putting out the cigarette in grease, or like you've got a little bug underneath your foot and you're just going to do, you want to keep your foot connected to the rolling tool, and then you do a little pivot and squish. And all we do here is we warm up that plantar fascia. So from the heel up into the ball toe mound of your foot, there's a nice strip of fascia, and then it spreads out at the ball toe mound up into the toes. So we're just waking up that long strap, keeping it alive, making it be responsive, bringing a little bit of liquid movement, a little bit of heat. Take one more moment there, and then when you're ready, switch feet, put your other foot onto the roller, get that middle of the foot on, put a little bit of forward body weight, and then we pivot and squish. And typically speaking, you probably can feel that warmth come into the bottom of your foot. So you want to feel like you're increasing the blood flow, stimulating the superficial fascia, your skin, and that secondary layer. And then we want to just kind of put that forward body weight. So we're getting the plantar fascia, that strip that runs from the heel to the ball toe mound. Awesome. Take one more pivot, and then both feet on the ground, bit of a soft bend in the knees. Take a nice big breath, reach your arms up. And then as you exhale, bend your knees even more, fold towards your feet. It does not matter if you can touch your feet. We just fold towards them just to feel into the back body. Take a nice big breath, and then a super big bend in the knees. Pull your abdominal muscles in. Slow roll your way up to standing, and then give your body a little lymphatic bounce. Bouncy, 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 just to move that lymph. Get everything feeling nice and alive. Take out the screen. Get your Etch-a-Sketch ready for the rest of your best day. You guys are amazing. Jay,